Well, we decided to take a vacation to England using Gate 1 tours. The first thing we had to do was get some money, and you see their money is much prettier than ours in America. So we did have to go through several airports to get there. We went through Atlanta, then we went to Paris, and then back to Manchester. And this is the Paris airport, and it was really pretty for the holidays. So we took a couple pictures there, and I think we had about a 2 or 3 hour layover there. It's hard traveling, but it's really worth it once you get to your final destination. Initially started in Jackson, Mississippi, which was an hour flight. Then we went to Atlanta, had about a 5 hour layover, then got the flight to Paris, which was about an 8 hour flight. And then we had to fly to Manchester, which was about another hour and a half. So it was a long day of traveling. But if you want to go to these really cool places, you have to make that sacrifice and do that travel time. It's hard and you get exhausted, but it's all worth it at the end. The airport had some cute little souvenirs you could buy. I love these little plush macaroons, and then they have the little teddy bears and the Eiffel Towers that said Paris on them. Did not buy any, just took videos. We finally arrived in Manchester, England, and it was pretty cool. They had my name waiting for us when we got there, and here's our driver that took us to the hotel. We had a transfer, so it's pretty easy with Gate 1. They take care of everything. You pick up your luggage at baggage claim, and then you go outside and they are waiting on you. And this was our first hotel we stayed at, called the Clayton Hotel, and it's in Manchester, England. It was really nice. It was probably like a 4 or 5 star hotel, and this is what our room looked like. It looks like your typical room, but it was pretty comfortable and really clean, and it was nice. So when we got to the hotel, that actually counted as day 1 of our trip, but we were exhausted and took about a 6 hour nap. So your first thing you do on the Gate 1 tour is you go downstairs that night, you have an orientation of what's going to go on that week, and you meet all your fellow tour mates. So we've already met a couple people that we already like. It's a nice group. And then this is our tour manager, Mike James, and he is kind of telling us what to expect that week. And then right after orientation, you were treated to dinner as part of your package. And this was a 3-course meal. It was pretty good. Now, a lot of people there, when they got to England, they went around and looked at the town and everything. But like I said, we just didn't have any sleep. We were exhausted, so we had to go catch up on some sleep. So our first day basically consisted of sleep, an orientation, and a dinner. And this was my dinner. It was sweet corn soup and then this big chicken burger that they made us. So after a good night's sleep, we were actually looking forward to a fun day in Manchester, which they classified as day 3. First day was travel day, second day arrival, and then this was our first day. So it starts out with a big buffet breakfast. Now I always try to take a video of the breakfast to let everybody see what it looked like. But over in Europe, they always have beans for breakfast, and then they have potato and sausages, and their bacon is more like ham. And then they had fresh fruits and then all kinds of drinks. It's a really nice breakfast. And if you fill up on breakfast, you really don't even want lunch. And then here's my plate. No judgments at all, please. After breakfast, we stepped outside our hotel, and this is what it looked like. The streets of Manchester. Saw a lot of double-decker buses passing by, and it just really made you feel like you were over in England. Well, with the Gate 1 tours, they always give you an itinerary for every day, and they let you know what time to be on the bus. So this is what our bus looks like. You see it's super new and super modern. It's a really nice bus. And we had to be on the bus at 9:30, so we didn't have to get up so early. And that's our bus driver, Alan, over on the left, and then our tour guide, Mike. And this is what the inside of the bus looks like. You see it's super clean, super modern. And then, of course, we had to take our first cheesy touristy picture with some ladies we met in the back. Now, our day started with a bus tour of the downtown area of Manchester. So it drove us around several blocks, telling us different facts and some of the history of the area, and then how this used to be a big cotton district where they would make cotton apparel and fabrics, and had tons of McDonald's there. So sometimes you're worried you're not going to find anything you like to eat over there, but they had everything we have. They had McDonald's and Burger Kings and Subways and KFC, so you can always find something if you don't like the local food. But their main dish over there, their favorite dish, is called fish and chips. which is like a breaded fried codfish, and then French fries. Now, one thing I love using a tour company for is you just get to sit back in the bus, and then you have a tour guide that tells you everything you're looking at. You don't have to worry about traffic or where you're going or where you're trying to get. You just get to sit back and enjoy. And Gate 1 is really good about these tours, which if you're there on your own, you might not get to see all these little places because you'd be looking for your main touristy destinations, so you wouldn't get to see a lot of the local stuff. We saw a lot of pubs and bars that were pretty cool. Kind of want to do one of those. I'm not a bar type person, but I kind of do want to go into one. Now, our first stop when we got out of the bus was to see this cathedral, and it was beautiful, but we were not allowed to go in because they didn't accept groups, so we could only see the outside of the cathedral. So this started our walking tour of the city. Now, we had a local guide that walked us around the city. Like, she joined us on our bus and would give us the lecture and the facts and the history of the town as we drove around. And then when we got off the bus, we used these little, they're called whisperers, that you put a little earpiece in your ear and you can listen to her on like a radio, like a certain channel. And then you could hear her tell you about all the facts. Now, when we booked this trip, this was called a Christmas market trip. So they did take us through a couple Christmas markets at first on the tour, but we weren't allowed to stop at them. You had to do all that on your own leisure time, which kind of makes sense because the tour guide is just there to tell you about things that you wouldn't know on your own. And a Christmas market is just fun with a lot of food and a lot of shopping. You can definitely do that on your own. And when everybody's in a group together, not everybody wants to stop at the same vendor. So it's good to have that free time to explore. And they did give us plenty of free time at the end so we could go back and shop. So this is kind of the start of the Christmas markets when we were on our own. There are little vendor booths everywhere. And some of them have food, some of them have gifts, some of them have handmade items. It's just a really cool experience. Now, it was a little bit cold and wet and windy, but we still enjoyed the experience. We were always the last ones at the very end of the line in the group because we like to stop and take a lot of pictures and a lot of video, kind of document our trip, because you can never remember everything if you don't take photos and video, because there is so much to do every single day. You just can't remember it in your brain. I thought this was pretty unique. It's a defibrillator right in the middle of the street. Hey, you never know. And then they did take us down a couple of secret alleys and passageways to get to different parts of the Christmas market to explore. They were kind of letting us see where everything was, so when we came back on our own in our free time, we would know exactly where to go. Well, you see, the downtown looks like a lot of other downtown areas, a lot of little specialty stores and statues everywhere to take pictures of and to take those cheesy touristy pictures we love taking. But very good experience. The tour wasn't that long. It was about an hour. And then you also need to make sure you tip your tour guide because they do rely on tips because that is part of their job. But we just took some more pictures and then we went back to the Christmas market on our own. And look at these big dishes of potatoes they were making. Some of the street vendor food looked so good, but I don't think we actually bought any that day because we were still full from that giant breakfast. They had different kind of pizzas. I really wanted to try one of those. It reminded me of when we went to Italy where they had all that pizza, but this was right here in the heart of Manchester. And then they had plenty of sweets. If you have a sweet tooth, you will totally be satisfied at these Christmas markets. Lots of fudge and cookies and pies, cakes, everything you would ever want. Look, this is all fudge. And then, of course, we had to take a couple pictures standing by the fudge booth. Then they also had some cheese vendors that were pretty cool. And then, you guessed it, more sweets. And it was kind of funny. One of the vendors thought I was a famous celebrity. She kept saying, "I know you are. I know you're a celebrity." And I was like, I don't even want to know who she thinks I am, but I am not. Now, the foods at the street market were not priced too bad. A lot of the dishes you could get were like, I'd say about 7 to 10 pounds, which I think in American money it would be more like $13 or $14, but you know you're going to pay a little bit when you're in these touristy districts. But like I said, we did not buy anything to eat, but I think the next Christmas markets we go to on the trip, we're definitely going to get some of their local foods. I thought these little astronaut statues were cute too. I took a little video of those. Those were pretty unique. And then you guessed it, more sweets. They were just everywhere. We took a couple more cheesy touristy pictures, and then we did decide to get some hot chocolate because at these Christmas markets they usually have an individual specific Christmas mug you can get that says where you are in the year. So we've only been to Christmas markets once in Germany and we got the mug. So here we did get the mug to keep, and with the hot chocolate and the mug it was about 10 pounds, which wasn't terrible. You do get to keep the mug. We put them on our Christmas trees. So anyway, here's some more food vendors. They had these little pies that looked good, but I think you needed to heat those up, and we were just out on the street. And then I caught Ray trying to take a selfie of himself, which I thought was funny. And then for some of our pageant girls back home, I thought these were pretty cool. These are the fascinators a lot of the English ladies wear to church and different special occasions. So they were in a store window, and I took a little video. And then here's some more of the Christmas markets. Here's some strudel they were selling. And then this is just what the Christmas market looked like. It was in the downtown area, and all the vendor booths were kind of in the middle. And there's my cup again. And then Ray did taste some of the samples of the different wines and spirits. So then we walked down a little bit further, and we saw this booth that was pretty cool. And a lot of things were colorful. A lot of the booths tried to attract your attention to come over there, which this one was awesome. These big pieces of licorice in different colors. Now they had many different sections of the Christmas market, and this section we came into mainly was food, and there were different food vendors from around the world. You could sample different flavors. So I thought this one was pretty cool. It was a swinging grill that was full of sausages, and this was Indian food they had. It was all really cool to look at, and it all smelled really good. Now, this was one of my favorite booths. They had these little handmade houses, European houses, and I knew I wanted one, but the big ones were 53 pounds, which would probably be about $70. I didn't really want to spend that, so I got one of these little tiny ones. The little tiny ones in the front are 19 pounds. And in American dollars, that's about $22. But this is the one I got. It comes apart and you put a little incense cone in it, and then the smoke comes out of the chimney. So I thought that was really great and small enough to put in my suitcase and wrap up so it really wouldn't get broken or anything. The big ones probably would. Had to take another cheesy touristy picture because we love doing that. And it's a great way to look back on your life and remember all the fun things you did. Then we had the pleasure of meeting Ned on the street. He was so cute. That's the souvenir I wanted to take home, but we couldn't take him home. So we just walked around. We found Chinatown, and we stopped in a couple little stores there to look around, and really didn't buy much. I collect toys, so I bought this little Mario Lego-like box set, and it was 3.5 pounds. So that's probably just about $5 American. And then we started walking to where they were going to present us afternoon tea as part of our tour package with Gate 1. And I kind of thought this would be fun, and I was correct. So we walked down to the Richmond tea rooms, which were only about 5 or 6 blocks from our hotel. So we walked down as a group. And right when we walked up and I saw the way it was decorated outside, I knew this place was going to be fabulous. So right when you walk in, it's just like a little fairy tale place. Everything is so pretty. Everything's decorated so nice. It was just like walking in a fairy tale world. So since we're always at the end of the group taking pictures, when we walked in, there were not 2 seats together. So Ray and I had to split up and sit at different tables, which was all right because I ended up sitting at a table with Connie, Leslie, and Lori. And I had the best time ever. These ladies were so much fun, and we had a really fun time at our afternoon tea. There's Leslie and Lori and Connie. And then when they gave us these little crackers to pop open, where we got to see what little prize we got. Our tables had pretty little china cups and plates on it, getting ready for our tea. And then they would bring you a little teapot full of tea. And then we had sugar cubes on the table and milk on the table where you could kind of make the tea the way you wanted it. Here's our little teapots we got. And then you had a little sifter that when you poured the tea in the cup, it would strain out any loose tea leaves floating around. And then our waiter came out and explained to us everything that we would be receiving as far as food. But it comes out in a 3-plate tiered stand. And you have sandwiches on the bottom, scones in the middle, and then your desserts at the top. And they give you 3 of each because we had 3 people that were sharing this. So everybody could sample at least 1 of each. And it was pretty filling. There was a lot of food there. I didn't eat it all. I just tasted a lot of it. But here's the scone. And they gave you this really creamy buttercream and then jam. And then here's the sandwiches. It was just really good. It was such a cool experience. It was my favorite experience of the whole day. And then there's Ray and his group of ladies he got to sit with. So we left there. I had enough food to take back to our hotel with us. One thing about Manchester was we went in December of 2024, and it gets dark about 4:30 in the afternoon. This looks like it's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, but that's 4:30 in the afternoon. So after we put our food back up at the hotel, we went back to the downtown area and walked around to look at some more of the Christmas markets because they are so cool. And we just wanted to make sure we didn't miss anything the first time. So we went a little bit deeper in the downtown area this time to explore, and it was cold that night and windy and rainy. So luckily we did bring the right coats and umbrellas and stuff for this trip because we heard England, it's usually wet, and they were not wrong. It stayed wet. We got pounded with rain, but it's okay. You know, in your normal life, that time of the day, we're usually at home just resting, not doing much. And here you are in a different country, walking around the streets in the rain and shopping. So it was a fun experience. So again, if you have a sweet tooth, you are in the right place at the Christmas markets. Here's just some pictures of us out in the cold and the rain, but they make great pictures and great memories to look back on. So as we kept walking, we did find some more stores that were right in front of the big shopping mall, so we decided to explore those a little bit. This was a big hotel chocolate type of store, and they had some really good pieces of chocolate here. They were a little bit pricey, but you know everything's expensive when it's gourmet and everything. Now, they did have these gourmet chocolate candy wreaths. You could get you one for a little over $100 American, but they're super fancy, but I was just there to look. I was not there to buy a $100 chocolate candy wreath. Now, this was an entranceway to some more shops and a little bit of a Christmas market right here in the middle with a lot of candy. But this path would lead us to the mall, and we did want to check it out just a little bit. And they did have more vendors there. We got these really cute British ducks that we are taking home and we're going to gift to some of our friends for Christmas. But I thought these were too cute to pass up. And then this is right before you're walking into the mall. So we really didn't buy anything in the mall. We just went to look, but we found this Vietnamese street eats restaurant right at the edge of the mall. So Ray wanted to get dinner, so he ordered on their little touch screen there and got his dinner. And we sat outside and watched people walk by and just ate some noodles. So it was a really fun experience. So that was pretty much it for our first full day in Manchester. We started walking back to our hotel in the rain and saw some really pretty buildings there and took some pictures and just took a couple more touristy pictures on the way back. But all in all, a super fantastic day. We enjoyed it and it was amazing. So I'll get our day 2 video up pretty soon. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'm off to enjoy some more of England.